Welcome to the show.
Hola.
We're here. We saw Venom. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yikes.
Let me give some preface here. I'd consider myself a Tom Hardy fan. I like most movies that he's in. I think he's a really good actor. I will say forever when he accepted the role of Venom, I was kind of like, because it doesn't strike me as something that, like, he would normally go do.
Yeah.
But I was like, cool, I'll go see it. And while the first two Venom movies certainly had their flaws, I was always like, Tom Hardy, cool, does pretty good.
Right.
With the first two Venom movies, like I said, definitely had their flaws, but overall, kind of just like rambunctious, crazy fun. Reminded me of like the early Transformer movies, like couple good like comedic relief laughs every once in a while without being like a comedy movie, and just like some outrageous fun action stuff.
Yeah, that's a great comparison, actually. It's really good.
Thank you. So tell me for you, how have the first two movies, what was your viewing experience like?
The first one, I actually enjoyed the first one. Like
Yeah.
Like you said, Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Good guy. I like him.
That's that's all you need.
Right. The second one, I honestly just wish it was longer, so more can be developed. I just felt like it got pretty rushed through, especially with such a cool character like Carnage.
Yeah.
But overall, like, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I hated them and they were absolutely abysmal and this, that, and the third.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Enjoyable.
Yeah. And so, I mean, to be honest, I don't even think we need like a pre-spoiler portion.
No.
But we'll have one. And I'll say this. It's not good.
No.
It's pretty bad.
See, I'll sit here and say this one was abysmal.
Yeah. It was not my favorite viewing experience, to say the least. We'll go into all the details of it later. Ultimately, I just feel like it to me it just wasn't well thought out or executed. It's almost like they were just like, oh shoot, it's time for the third Venom movie. Let's see what we got in the tank. Which is never a good way to go about making a movie. And maybe I'm not up to date on all the stories. Maybe this is a product of the writer's strike or whatever, and maybe AI wrote the script. I don't know. But that's what I've got to say. Not my favorite viewing experience, to say the very least.
It was actually my least favorite viewing experience within a movie theater.
Wow.
Yeah. Because there's only been one other time where I've wanted to leave a movie, but even then with that movie, there was only about like one time where I even had that thought.
Yeah.
With Venom, I think within 20 minutes, the rest of that movie, I was like, can I go home yet? Like it was just so bad. Like,
yeah, it wasn't great.
No.
And let's, for anyone, potential spoiler warning here at this point. I don't know how many spoilers I'm actually going to like go into, but if for whatever reason you're like, yeah you've been warned.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the plot here first of all, getting into our first category. It's extremely bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
For me, it just lacked any compelling substance. It's so all over the place. There's just so many nonsensical arcs within the plot, and so many plot holes too. Like, I don't know how you can have this many glaring plot holes in a movie without like somebody in the development process being like, hold on, we just said this and here we are doing this. Like, the whole premise of so this dude in the second movie dies, right? And that's why Tom Hardy's character's on the run.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, he killed him, even though he didn't, right? So this dude's like on the brink of death, and they're like, finally, someone who's a viable candidate to be a symbiote.
Yeah.
So they fuse him, and it works, and it's like this great miracle that it happened.
Yeah.
What happens 40 minutes later? everyone's a symbiote because, psych, you can just be a symbiote whenever.
Not only just people, but animals too, apparently.
Yeah, like there's no criteria for being a symbiote 45 minutes after that discussion.
You get a symbiote. Get a symbiote.
That's exactly what it's like. The whole, like Mrs. Chen, when she shows up, I was like, oh, sick, cool, she's a funny character. Right. What the heck was that? What was even the point of that besides the fact that it's like, let's just destroy this whole plot arc that we just developed earlier? Like, Eddie's falling to his death? Okay, yeah, no, we can't risk Venom being seen. No, not when it comes to dancing. What the heck was even that? Yeah, the plot, I gave it a 1. 1 out of 10.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I gave it a 1 as well. Because, Marvel movies are known to be, as you have said, very predictable.
Sure.
So you start the movie out by showing Null. The symbiote, darkness, lore, super cool character. And then didn't get mentioned ever again.
Yeah. Until maybe the worst post-credit scene of all time.
Right, and that was absolutely garbage, and I guarantee that his character is going to get scrapped. He's not going to be seen.
No, 100%,
ever. So that was a waste of the mention of a cool character.
Right.
If you would have built off that and not, okay, well, Eddie's now going to be on the run from the cops, the feds, and these aliens. But, hold on, the feds are also in on the whole symbiote thing. So instead of working with Eddie, with somebody who knows how the symbiotes work and, has spent minimum over a year with one of them inside of him.
Yeah.
No, we're going to try to kill him and or just put him in jail forever.
Yeah.
So if they would have stuck to just, aliens... Yeah. Then it could have been cool, or just on the run. I don't know. I don't know what they could have done, but they could have done anything other than what they did.
Yeah.
So I gave it a 1.
Yeah. There was also too many mini plot points that just developed into essentially nothing.
Yeah.
Why was Mrs. Chen in Vegas?
I don't know.
Why did that family want to see aliens?
That family pissed me off.
What the
Dang it, Martin.
Literally all they did was just make things worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole lady who her brother died.
Who the heck is her?
Yeah.
Who is that?
Why are we just going to introduce this randomly thought-provoking storyline and do nothing with it?
Oh.
That brings me to the writing, which I did give a 3. It's a little bit higher. It's mildly funny at its best. There's a couple points where I was like, oh, okay, that's a good one. Good chuckle. Haha.
Yeah.
But it's really cringy and awkward at its worst. There's so many jokes that just did not land. There's so many moments where people say things and you're like, who talks like that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's 2 types of good writing in movies, and to pull out a couple of examples, I'll pull the Across the Spider-Verse film. Great writing because the dialogue is so relatable. It's these are real conversations that people have, and it doesn't feel like a force, it's written. It just feels like it's happening.
Yeah. So
you got great writing there. And then you also have great writing in the sense that it's thought provoking, and you're like, wow. And I always go when I think of that. To me, there's lots of great examples of wise figures in movies, but for me, the one that I feel like is the best written is Michael Caine's Alfred in the Dark Knight series, and he always just has these dialogues where it's wow, you know, so well said, just wow. I've never thought about it in that context, or what a story or whatever. And those ones aren't oh, this is how people talk. I've never heard anyone talk like that. But it's so well written that you're just whoa, wow, blown away.
Yeah.
This had neither of those at any point. It was all just who talks who says these things? Science is sacrifice. What the heck? What are you talking about?
Bro, the world's about to end. What do you mean science
the whole
is sacrifice?
point of science is to understand things in order to help people. What are you talking about? Anyways.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a 3. There were some funny jokes. I like the writing when he's like, I'm going to shoot you. And then he did. That was pretty good.
We're going to hold on, because that's the best character. The general stood on business the entirety of that movie. He was pissed. He saw his men die, so he said, how do we fix it? Finds the way to fix it. All right, boom, you're dead. Psych, Venom saved him again, and he's pissed off even more.
Yeah.
I love the general. Shout out to him.
Okay, yeah.
Anyways, I gave the writing a 1.
I can't even complain.
And the only reason why it is a 1 is because I did think that moments were funny. Or else it would have been a 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, like... There's a chance it could have been higher if more of those jokes didn't feel forced, or like you said, like if they would have landed correctly or whatever it may be. But it felt like the only time that writing felt good was Eddie and Venom talking to each other.
Yeah.
But like that's already what I expect from that. Like, it's about them, whatever. Like, I just expect at least decent writing when it comes to those characters. But then the only other person that like was kind of good, like who got bare minimum anything, was the dude that was supposed to die but got a symbiote. Like, and he's like talking to them within the little prison.
Yeah.
That's it. But like I said, that's maybe 2 minutes of talking.
Yeah, and so, I'll get into my gripes with that character here in a couple categories, because I have them, but I'll agree with you. I think the way his dialogue is written isn't terrible.
Right. But yeah, other than that, it's awful.
Getting into the visuals here. So I feel like lately I've been seeing all these clips where it's like these 2007, 2008 movies, you know, Optimus Prime is like chopping off Megatron's head, and they're like, what happened to this kind of CGI?
Davy Jones playing the organ.
Right. And you're like, holy crap, like, wow, they were really onto something. Yeah. It's not good. It really like made me think of those, and I was like, how do you make it this bad? It literally was like bad video game graphics the whole time.
Yeah.
And like, I don't expect most video games to have good graphics, you know? I expect when I play 2K that like, you know, Donovan Mitchell or someone is going to look freaky, and like, that's not what they look like, you
Absolutely.
know? But it was even within the franchise, I feel like it was the worst of the three. At least like in the first one, you get some cool stuff where you're like, whoa, you know, kind of crazy symbiote Venom looking thing.
Right.
But it's just like, what are we watching here most of the time? Really poor CGI. The cinematography is lackluster. The best shots in the film are like, you know, just of whatever the mise en scène, like whatever's in the frame, whatever the visual is like this kind of cool, unique visual of like a view or something, or of like a, you know, a set or whatever. And then they just like have slapped the most outrageous like CGI figure in the middle of it. And you're like, it literally looks like a child took a sticker book of art and just slapped a sticker right in the middle of it. And you're like, what the heck is this? Because there were some things that I was like, okay, kind of cool. Every once in a while with those visuals, like some of the shots of Vegas were kind of cool. Could anybody with the new iPhone take the same shots? Yeah.
I've seen those shots.
Yeah.
I've recorded shots like that.
The Weeknd's music video that was shot on the new iPhone for Dancing in the Flames, better cinematography than this. But it was a 3 because I was like, okay, you know, at least somebody was thinking about like what kind of shots we want.
Yeah. I gave it a 2. So it's really hard for me to point out when something is bad CGI.
Right.
I'm not going to say I saw it all the way through the film, but there were bits and pieces where I'm like, okay, let's stop.
Right.
But granted, did they look great? No, but I did like the at least designs of these other symbiotes.
Yeah, symbiotes. Sure, I don't know.
Whatever the heck it actually is. I did like some of the designs.
Yeah.
Like you said, some of these sets, little pieces were cool until they wanted to ruin it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have much else to say.
No,
than that.
that's enough said there. Especially the one that like immediately comes to mind is he's riding that horse, right? And you get this really cool shot of this like beautiful canyonscape, and then there's like this ridiculously designed Venom horse thing, and it's not even like it's a bad design. It's just like the CGI is so weirdly thrown together on it.
Yeah,
and then he's like attached to the back of it by like a 10-foot Venom symbiote extension protrusion, and you're like, what the heck is even this?
Yeah.
Anyways, moving into the audio, I'm actually not too bad on the audio here. I did give it a 6. And this is where I was like, I'll get into that character later. He's the main reason that like the sound mixing takes a hit for me. I really did not like the way his voice was designed and the way it came out. It just sounded really fruity. Like it made me want to laugh. Like when he's like, he's coming, he's gonna kill us. I was like, oh my gosh, like who designed this voice? But overall, I will say the sound mixing was pretty decent. Like Venom himself sounds pretty good. Yeah. The sound effects all sound pretty good. The soundtrack does take a little bit of a hit because it's so all over the place. But I don't mind the soundtrack selections. It's just so, like the hodgepodge of what they pulled together for the soundtrack is like so, I don't want to say nonsensical, but just all over the place that it's like, what the heck are we doing here? You know, we go from like we get a Queen song, we get Ground Control to Major Tom, like we get some cool, song choices, and you're like, okay, we're going with like a 70s, 80s rock thing, cool, I can get behind that.
Right.
And we're going to put Action Bronson in there on the second half. Maroon 5 is going to make an appearance with Memories. ABBA's in there, and then it's, why don't we throw Post Malone and Morgan Wallen on the credits roll? Not to say I don't like any of those songs.
Right.
It's just like, okay, if we're going to do like a modern country thing, cool, let's roll with it. If we're going to do a classic rock, dancey rock stuff, UK style, let's do it. Cool, sounds good. You want like a little more modern hip hop? Sure. But it's just the fact that it went between all of them at such random moments that I was like, what the heck? Yeah. But I did give the audio a 6 because overall I was like, it easily was my favorite part of the movie. Like, ABBA's 100%. On, cool, you know? Yeah. Young and free. I'll get into it.
You get a little bit of a break from the catastrophe you're actually watching. Yeah, no, I get that. It's hard for me to ever rate audio because I'm never listening to the audio. The only way that I...
Wait.
Wait, what?
Did you just say you're never listening to audio?
Not for music, or not for movies.
What are you? What are you listening to when you watch a movie?
No, okay, no. Let me say it like this: like I don't notice like the sound effects or like if the mixing is like super like whatever. Okay. Now, if it's really bad, like I need to cover my ears or I need hearing aids to know what's said. Then obviously like I know how to. Anyways,
I just
so that's what I mean.
Yeah. No. I had to clear that
up. So I kind of based it off of the soundtrack alone because there wasn't anything that was like
glaringly bad.
Right.
Yeah.
So for the soundtrack, I gave it a 3.
Wow. Didn't like it.
Here's the thing: I'm in the same boat as you, but why was it all over the place? Like I'm all for being diverse and everything, but like kind of like what you're saying, like if we're gonna be doing this rock and roll kind of vibe, then pick that route. You know, like choose some different artists and like make it diverse in that route. But like, why are we going from ABBA to Post and Morgan Wallen? Like, where's the correlation? What are we doing here? I don't like it. But I'm in the same boat. They're not bad songs. Like,
right.
I can vibe to them, and it really was the best part of the film.
Yeah, for sure.
But because of how all over the place it was, it just kind of still made the movie bad.
Yeah.
What's even happening now?
And to me, when that really was like glaringly an issue, is like you go through all this craziness, and then you get that like guitar intro to Memories by Maroon 5, and you're like, you just switched the whole tone of the movie.
That pissed me off.
By throwing that song in there. And I like the Memories song. Like, I think it's a cool song.
I love it.
But it's like, you just threw off the whole vibe of everything you were building up sound-wise and, like, mood-wise by slapping that in there. Yeah, anyways.
Oh my gosh, that whole ending pissed me off so bad.
Yeah, I've got some stuff written for that. We'll get there in a second. Characters is our next category here.
Yeah.
I gave it a 2. Mm-hmm. Little to no development. We kind of mentioned that. Like, you just get random characters that, like, have no build-up, no direction, and yet they're, like, a big part of the movie.
Just thrown in.
Like, what the blasted heck was the point of that lady's Christmas pin?
Her mom made it for her.
Well, yeah, but, like, it's like this big plot line they keep referring to, and you're like, who are you? What are we looking at?
Oh, yeah, that main chick pissed me off, too, because, like, why are you showing me 5 seconds of your dead brother? And then, like, that's it. Yeah. Like, who are you? Leave.
Yeah. There's really, really nothing inspiring or, like, original. And when I say inspiring, I don't mean, like, every character's got to have, like, an inspirational arc. But I mean, like, nothing compelling where you're like, whoa, cool, like, interesting development, like, interesting way to go about it. Even Eddie and Venom, like, really, where are they now, or where do you, like, feel they are now as opposed to at the start of the film? I feel like I got nothing. They try to, like, slap on this, like, beautiful montage at the end, like, oh, let's tug at the heartstrings of the viewers. We'll play Memories by Maroon 5, and all of Eddie and Venom's greatest hits will roll on the screen. And you're like, are you trying to, like, are we really trying to do, like, this, emotional appeal to the audience here on, like, these two characters? When literally, like, nothing happened in this movie? Like, what's going on? Yeah. The General was kind of cool as a character. Like, like you said, he stood on business. I respect that. The dad was, like, kind of funny occasionally.
Yeah. Martin.
Yeah, and, like... even though they didn't develop, like, Eddie and Venom, like, had some decent moments. Right. So, that's why it's at a 2.
Yeah, I gave it a 2 as well. Mainly for the General, Eddie, and Venom, because those are the only characters I actually, like, cared to ever see on the screen.
Yeah.
That whole family pissed me off. Except for the little boy. Yeah. The little boy is whatever.
Sure.
Child actors usually get a pass unless they're
atrocious.
Oh, really, 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 really bad. I hated those 2 chicks that worked in the lab.
Yeah.
Not even. I just want to know, why are you there?
Yeah.
But, like, I also don't care. Leave the set.
Yeah.
That's really it. Like, there's, like, every character sucked.
Yeah.
And that's just it.
Yeah.
They just were trash.
Right.
And then you get that little, what really pissed me off is at the end when they, with the 2 chicks in the lab.
Yeah.
And they're running away from, like, all the acid rain. And she's getting flashbacks from her brother. And I'm still like, okay, but like, who are you? Why am I supposed to care about you?
Yeah.
And now she's this Venom lady. And, like, that's supposed to... I'm assuming they're trying to lead into, oh, there's a new Venom character now.
I hope not.
I found out that purple Venom thing was a thing from Fortnite before the actual movie.
That's outrageous.
I know.
Well, I'm not up to the date on Fortnite lore, but...
Well, let me just tell you, the graphics look the exact same.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
that was another thing. Like, why do we have, like, the Incredible Hulk Venom and the Flash Venom and Iron Man Venom all of a sudden.
The only one that was kind of cool was the two that decided to merge together.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, but everybody else was
symbiote.
Exactly.
What did you give the characters? Did I 2? Okay, we're on the same page there. Moving into our last category here, overall enjoyment of the film. It's an easy 1 from me. It's a 0 for you.
I didn't enjoy it.
Okay, yeah. I will say it was a 1 because there were moments I was pleasantly surprised. And by moments, I mean singular moment. And it was when we looked up the runtime before the film, and we thought there was a solid 30 minutes left, and then the credits started rolling, and I was like, oh, sick. We're already done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know. Have I seen worse movies? It's hard to say.
Yeah,
I want to say no, but like truthfully, if I'm really, really thinking about it, I'm sure I have.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of one.
There's a couple that come close. We talked about Barbie because that's like the other movie we reviewed on the show that neither of us was really high on.
Yep.
And you were like, that's kind of, you're like, I got to think about that. It might be close.
Yeah,
I'll wait to hear on your answer here in a second. But for me, it wasn't really close. Like Barbie, I actually thought was significantly better than this one for a lot of reasons. Even though like it wasn't a film I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
But there are a couple that come to mind where I'm just like, it's in contention for those being one of the worst.
Yeah. I took that drive home from the theater last night and sat in silence.
Yeah.
Just debating. I walk into my house, some of my roommates are there, and this is how I knew I got my answer. I exclaim that this was the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, and it's 100 times worse than Barbie.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
So you're
because thinking about Barbie, like there were characters that I could at least hats off to, like better sets at points, and like so there's far better pros in Barbie than there were.
That's where I'm
Venom.
at too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that wraps up Venom for me.
Yeah, it was awful.
We got to see a good movie because it's been too long.
Please.
Like we had Fall Guy a while ago. But
and that was like a decent one.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't even like great.
Yeah,
it was decent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we need something good soon. We'll close this off by giving the audience maybe a little sneak preview of a future episode opportunity. In the distant future, we watched the Marvel's Daredevil trailer for the new series, and both of us agreed that 2-minute trailer
it's better than the 2
without even audio on, because we were watching it during the credits. We're like, we don't want to be like rude to other people watching the movie, so we'll watch it on silent with no audio. It was significantly better than the entire movie. Venom movie. So looking forward to that one.
I am too.
Maybe that can redeem Marvel at this point.
Yeah. See, because you didn't see Deadpool. I saw I saw Deadpool.
Right.
I'm still keeping Marvel up here.
Sure.
Only because this is a Sony production, and I already can't stand Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only thing that they've gotten right is Spider-Man, and I'm assuming that Marvel cares way more about Spider-Man than like Morbius and Venom. So I feel like they have a little bit more help and hand in creative avenues for Spider-Man. So I'm just going to blame Sony.
Okay.
Marvel is one more film until they're back down to I have no trust in you.
Yeah. They're just, just barely keeping you on the line at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think I've missed the last like 5 projects, like TV shows, movies. Yeah. Couldn't tell you anything about them. So,
well, until next time. Next week we talked about we got the Tyler the Creator review on the way, so that'll be in the works here. And we appreciate all of you for tuning in and listening. Reaching 1,000 plays this last week, so exciting stuff. So. Cheers, and if you are debating seeing Venom, we recommend not seeing it.
Don't.
Go see something cooler.
You could buy a couple spicy McChickens from McDonald's, any other meal from anywhere else.
You could pre-order tickets to like Gladiator 2
Get a
or
haircut.
Wicked. You could
go to the dentist.
Well,
no, just do anything other than that with that $11.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a terrible $11. 11 things at the dollar store. Well, maybe not with inflation. But
it almost wasn't even worth like my $11 to sit there through that. Like in my mind, I was doing the math on like, is my time worth this money? And that's we'll see you next time.